Today's forecast calls for highs in the low 30s with a 100% chance of a countdown.
Okay, it's getting to be the winter season, at least in the northern hemisphere. So, what comes to mind in a season like this, other than shoppers rushing crowded stores looking for that perfect Christmas gift? Yeah, cold weather, snow, and ice. Ice is also a common theme in video games, whether it's ice-themed levels, ice physics, or the topic of this list, ice users. There are a wide variety of characters that specialize in Sub-Zero tactics, and it makes for some interesting battles. So today, I'm counting down my picks for the coolest ice users in gaming. Now, aside from the standard rules, the character must primarily use ice in their fighting style. For example, Kirby and Gil from Street Fighter 3 won't be on here. Also, no Pokemon. There are so many good ice types, and choosing just one would start a flame war which would cause everyone on the list to melt. One last thing, I am only including characters that originate from video games. So no Ice Titan, and no Haku from the Naruto games. So without further ado, let's kick some ice! Alright, it's game time!
Okay, let me start off by setting the proper mood. Wonderize Retro! Ha!
The Wonderful 101 is quickly making me a fan of Platinum games. It's chaotic, it's action-packed, it has a great story and characters, and it's just so much fun. Trust me, I'll talk more about that in due time. But for now, I'd say he just showed up.
We've been waiting for you, Master of Ninjutsu, the wonderful one from the Shinshu Japan field office, Momoe Byakoi, a.k.a. Wonder White!
Fred, are you, hiding a teleprompter somewhere?
When Wonder White joins your team, you know you're in for a good time. First off, he's a ninja. And in case you haven't picked up over the months, I like ninjas. Also, his transformation sequence reminds me so much of Okami, it's downright hilarious. Wonder White, also known as the Claws of Calamity, is the successor to the 100-year-old Wonderful Ryu's style of ninjutsu. Along with his ninja skills, he's an excellent analyst, as shown in several instances, though he can be rather long-winded. But the ice comes in with his Unite morph, known as... Unite! With his trusty claws, he can tear enemies apart, pry open hatches, climb walls, and freeze enemies solid. While your enemy is incapacitated, you have a huge opening to just go to town with your best Unite combos. However, I can't put him higher because his ice powers are restricted to his claws. Still, try to cause trouble in his neck of the woods and he will leave you iced.
Vile doers of evil, prepare to answer for your crimes!
Zhenya Ballard is one of the few characters in the Arcana Heart franchise that can really be considered a badass. Along with her Arcana, Almacia, the Arcana of Ice, this lady really knows how to give her opponents chills. Orphaned at a young age, Zhenya was trained by a team of spirit investigators in Moscow. However, when the organization decided to downsize, she left to become a mercenary. While she doesn't show much emotion, she's able to keep a cool head in battle. Her playstyle is pretty fun too, combining boxing moves with a gauntlet-mounted battering ram that she keeps in a violin case of all things. Of course, the ice moves come from Almacia, which is a penguin who became a spirit. Almacia boosts Zenya's dashing ability, and can produce ice shards, powerful snowflakes, an ice explosion, and even a wave of ice stalagmites that can downright devastate opponents in the air. All things considered, Zhenya and Almacia make one fierce team, but I can't put them any higher because of the fact that the game allows you to pick any Arcana for any character. Still, mess with this duo, and they'll leave you in the cold. The world of Monster Hunter is jam-packed with all sorts of creatures that would make normal men freeze in fear. Believe me, I've done a whole series of those. And on that note, we come to the Barrios. A flying wyvern that looks like a cross between a dragon and a saber-toothed tiger, this beast rules the tundra with its fangs and claws. One thing you can tell right away is that the Barrios is fast. It can strike with high speed, giving you little time to react, as well as slide around on the ice, making it hard to keep up with it. Not only that, but the Barrios is able to fly and can swoop down on its prey with the kind of ferocity you'd expect from a bird of prey. But two attacks in particular make the Barrios especially dangerous. First off, its tail, which it can swing like a club, can cause Ice Blight, which causes you to lose stamina faster than me when I was running the mile back in middle school. Second, it can create an ice tornado which can cover you in snow faster than you can say Frosty. Of course, being an ice-based monster, this beast has a certain aversion to fire-based weapons. Even still, the Barrios is one monster that you don't want to mess with. But what would you expect from a franchise that can even make a bunny look threatening? Aw, cute bunny. Ah! Scary bunny! Run! I know at least one person was surprised that there weren't any ice-based robot masters on my top 50. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate the ice bots, they just didn't appeal to me quite as much as others. That being said, there are still some good ones. Case in point, Iceman. One of the original Robot Masters, Iceman was designed for polar exploration, before Wily reprogrammed him and gave him one of the most annoying stages in the game. Not only does it contain disappearing blocks, but it also has these things. I hate those things. His battle is actually very fair, and not frustrating at all. Of course, his Ice Slasher is better used in avoiding enemies by freezing them, as well as freezing fire pillars. Situational, yes, but not terrible. But what puts Iceman on here is his role in Powered Up. In that game, you can actually earn the right to play as the Robot Masters. As Iceman, ice physics are a moot point, and you can use frozen enemies as stepping stones. Also, I just love his personality. He has a split personality of a soldier and his commander, and both sides are equally endearing.
Professor, sir! Permission to go on this mission, sir! Well, you see, that's right. No! You have it all wrong! I didn't quite catch the last part, sir. A good soldier always stays cool in battle. My mission will be a success. Prepare yourself, Dr. Wily!
All things considered, Iceman was close to making my top 50, and with his skills and personality, it's easy to see why. Besides, he's cute enough to melt your heart. What's not to love about that? I'm gonna be honest here. Persona 4 Arena was my first foray into the Shin Megami Tensei universe. Yeah, it took a fighting game to get me interested in this RPG series. And while Teddy had ice skills in Persona 4, they didn't carry over to Arena. On the other hand, there's the Imperious Queen of Executions, Mitsuru Kirijo. Granted, my personal experience with Mitsuru is limited to Arena, but thankfully Omega Snake filled me in on some details since he's played through Persona 3. As it turns out, she's the student council president of Gekkoukan High School, the heir to the Kirijo group, and the leader of the group investigating Tartarus, the Dark Hour, and the Shadows. She's seen as a mother figure and leader to the team, befitting her Empress Arcana. Her dedication to fighting the Shadows actually stems from personal guilt somewhat, because it was the Kirijo group that unleashed the Dark Hour in the first place. But when her father is killed, right in front of her no less, she became so depressed that she wouldn't even venture into Tartarus. That is, until Yukari gave her some needed encouragement, and a much-needed wake-up slap, thus reigniting her will to fight and making her persona evolve into Artemisia. And this is where her battle skills come in. While her skills with a rapier are as sharp as the bitter cold, believe me, you see a lot of that in Arena, her persona is the star when it comes to ice. Both Penthesia and Artemisia have access to the Bufu line of skills, and Artemisia is even immune to ice attacks. These powers carry over to Arena, and trust me, those moves hurt. Just be careful around her, or... well, we all know how it would end.
It's time for the execution. Adieu. This.
Executed.
So I've been getting into League of Legends lately. I'm not as well versed as, well, these guys, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. And with over 100 champions, you're bound to find a good ice user among them. I mean, you have Ashe, Trundle, Nunu, Lysandra, and my pick for this list, Anivia, the Cryokinetics. True, she may be one of the most difficult champions to master, but it's worth it if you can handle her. Anivia is the guardian of the Freyord, having kept vigil over the frozen lands for several lifetimes. She joined the League in order to stem the tides of corruption that threatened her home. In battle, Anivia serves as a supporting mage, whose techniques mostly serve to slow down enemies and prevent them from escaping so that her allies can finish them off. Flash Frost can deal damage and chill the enemy twice, once on the shot and again on the burst. Crystallize can create a wall of ice to block the enemy's path. Frostbite fires an ice shard that deals double damage to a chilled enemy, and her ultimate, Glacial Storm, creates a blizzard that damages and chills any enemy who gets caught in it. Also, true to her nature as a Cryo-Phoenix, she has the chance to be resurrected after taking mortal damage. Good Anivia players can wreak havoc on their enemies, bogging them down with snow and ice, only to block their escape. Combine that with solid range, and you have a champion that, while being warm-hearted, won't hesitate to give her foes a chilly reception. The King of Fighters doesn't really get talked about that often. Shame really, considering it's pretty much the only thing keeping SNK play more relevant nowadays. But I digress. Kula Diamond is a cool character. Kula made her debut in KOF 2000 as a genetic experiment by the Evil Nests cartel. She was actually created with the purpose of eliminating K-Dash, the protagonist of the story arc who defected from the organization. However, following the downfall of Nests, she eventually joined up with her original target. Her personality changed dramatically as well, from that of a cold-blooded agent of destruction to a much more innocent girl. As far as her playstyle goes, it bears a lot of similarities to K-Dash, except she uses ice instead of fire. She can freeze opponents with Ice Breath, attack with an Icy Dragon Punch, and even launch a spin kick with her freaking ice skates. And then there's her supers. Good lord, her supers. With these moves, she's capable of generating ice spikes, causing blizzards, and her Neomax in 13 is just a feast for the eyes. Kula has been a fan favorite since her introduction, and with an arsenal like this, it's easy to see why. She fits in perfectly with her fellow Nests expats. And while the last 3 people on this list are better with ice than she is, it's a safe bet that she'll be with the KOF series far into the foreseeable future. Give the girl some ice cream, she deserves it. Wouldn't that melt everyone else? Just like you can't talk about 2D shooters without mentioning R-Type and Gradius, you can't do a list of ice users and not mention the fan favorite Sub-Zero. This guy has been one of Mortal Kombat's flagship characters from the very start, and he even shares the cover of the reboot with his rival Scorpion. In fact, he's so popular, he even got his own game. Which sucked from what I've heard. Anyways, the name Sub-Zero has actually been used by 2 characters. The original, whose real name was Bihan, was killed by Scorpion and later reborn as the Netherworld abomination known as Noob Saibot. The younger, Kuai Liang, took the mantle to avenge his brother. Both were operatives of a clan of assassins known as the Lin Kuei, and no matter which Sub-Zero you're playing as, there's no doubt he'll give you the cold shoulder. And everything else. He can shoot ice blasts from his hands, freeze the ground to trip you up, create an icy doppelganger which freezes opponents on contact, and a crap ton of other stuff. But of course, we can't forget his fatalities. One of them freezes his opponent to the bone for him to shatter, others freeze parts of the opponent's body leaving them helpless to resist their inevitable deaths, and his spine rip led to the creation of the ESRB. So yeah, Sub-Zero is an outright menace, but the thing that keeps him from being higher is his personality. Or lack thereof. You see, having been trained by the Lin Kuei, he never really shows that much emotion. Even after defecting, his personality never really develops that much. Also, they made him into a cyborg in the reboot. Why? Yep, that's right. I think Jin is a better ice character than Sub-Zero. Now put down your freeze rays before I have Dio do some crowd control. I have a case to make for this guy. Jin Kisaragi, a major in the NOL, is Ragna's estranged brother and the wielder of the Noxnick Torres known as Yukianasa. Yukianasa is the source of Jin's ice powers, and he is not afraid to use it to its fullest. His drive moves can freeze enemies momentarily, he can launch ice swords, launch ice waves, and let's not forget his infamous ice car or his bone-chilling astral. Jin also has some sick counters, and can be absolutely lethal in the hands of an expert. Just ask Bolt of Shadow, he mains the guy. But the reason I put him above Sub-Zero is because he's a far more complex character than Sub-Zero. Sure, with most people he's as cold as the ice he wields, but when Ragna is involved, let's just say he starts acting a little loopy. Okay, scratch that, he goes batshit insane. This stems in part from their childhoods, when Terami, that rotten bastard, pretty much told him about the black beast lurking within Ragna. This psychosis is also influenced by Yukianasa, which also serves to limit his power. If Jin can overcome this limit through the power of order he possesses, Jubei and Ragna say he'll become their greatest enemy. And given how dangerous he is already, that's a scary thought. There's a reason that Jin's my sub in the series. As for where he gets his ice car, I'm guessing he'd probably answer...
Nissan!
Number 1 is Rundas. I can just see all you Metroid fans out there cheering from your seats right about now. Rundas has been a fan favorite ever since his first and only appearance in Metroid Prime 3, and it's very easy to see why. First, his backstory. Rundas was born on a moon known for ice mining and was a member of a species capable of generating and manipulating ice. He was one of the few members of his kind to become a bounty hunter, and he lived for the hunt, often keeping trophies of his kills. He was also very prideful and even cocky, but even though he normally opted to go solo, he did share a sense of camaraderie with Samus and possessed a strong sense of justice. When the space pirates attacked Norian, Rundas, along with Samus, Score, and Gandreda, fought them off, and Rundas actually came to Samus' rescue not once, but twice. Afterwards, the hunters were sent to deal with Leviathan seeds, with Rundas being sent to Brio. When the Federation loses contact with the other hunters, Samus is sent to track them down. On Brio, Samus is attacked by pirates when Rundas seems to save her yet again, only to attempt to kill her right after. Yeah, you all know about this fight, and in spite of how much we didn't want to fight Rundas, it is so much fun! During the fight, Rundas coats himself in ice armor, flies about on ice rails like Iceman from X-Men, and tries to freeze you with ice shots up close. The fight is admittedly very easy, just rip off his armor and lay into him with Hyper Mode. In return, Rundas has his own Hyper Mode, where he creates an ice flail to crush you with. It's like a real fight against an icy equal, and a very satisfying fight, making his defeat all the more tragic.
And before you ask, no, I'm not gonna use Josh's line here.
All things being said, Rundas has a fun fight, a likable personality, and uses his powers of ice to their fullest, much like other people on this list. But Rundas has one trump card that makes him number 1. No magic or technology whatsoever. You see, most of the previous entries get their ice powers from magic or technology. Rundas doesn't need any of that. Cryokinesis comes naturally to him. It's a part of who he is. And that is what makes Rundas, in my opinion, the greatest ice user in all of gaming.
I'm the quarter guy saying happy holidays and stay frosty out there.
Allow me to break the ice.